Hi, Man United. It's Aussie Villain. Yeah, I'm okay, thanks. I'm okay. Look, I'm calling about Grubasic. Well, I'd like to sign him. Yeah. You see, that's the thing. I can't really afford the 58 million up front. What if we did like 38 up front and we did the rest in add-ons? Really, you're okay with that? Singen samman till segerskroppen Maltan Grindavik. Och jag vet vart nu ger idag. Hey guys, I'm Aussie Villain and welcome back to Grindavik on the Impossible Dream. It is season 15, episode 2 today. We have the GAGs in action in the Icelandic Cup. We start versus KFG, Kentucky Fried Goose, and then hopefully we'll have a fourth round tie and we'll find out who that is after we win the first one, obviously. But massive development in that Grubasic. We've agreed a fee with Manchester United, 38 million up front. We've got the 7.5 add-ons there for after 50 games, which he will probably get to, although it's league appearances. He doesn't play in the league that often, so it may be we don't actually pay that for a long time, if ever. 50 league goals, he's never going to get that. And winning the Champions League, if we win the Champions League, honestly, they can have whatever they want. I don't care at that point. It would be a dream come true in a way, wouldn't it? An impossible dream, you might even say. So 61 is the potential fee, but 38 is what we're paying up front. That is well in our, or not well in, but it is inside our budget. So that is good. We're going to have we've got 150 or so more, 170 grand a week we can spend. He's not going to want that much in money, I wouldn't have thought. And I mean, if he does, we'll just pay it, because what else are we going to do with it? So yeah, that is good. It hasn't been officially agreed. You can see here that the negotiations have taken place. They'll confirm it in the next little bit, and then we'll be able to negotiate a contract. So hopefully during today's episode we're going to confirm Vanja Grubasic as a Grindavik player for the rest of the series, because he would be on a longer term contract as well. So yeah, very pleased with this potentially going through, and yeah, it'll be happy days, won't it? Now, there is one game to catch you up on since last episode. That was in the league against Stunnan, so let's see how we went. Luna crossed for D'Ambrosio to open the scoring. Raul found Valenzuela unmarked to get our second. And Raul was the creator again for Koch to make it 3-0 at half-time. Before Raul got himself on the score sheet just after the break. But Stunnan pulled one back. And then they got a second. So it was a good performance from it. Stunnan, they do score some goals together, and we don't concede many, but they do happen to score, they score quite a few against us. A fair percentage of the goals we concede in a season, I'd say, certainly in the league. But yeah, we did quite well. D'Ambrosio looked good. Raul looked brilliant, as he always does. And yeah, the goals that they did score sort of came when we were starting to get some youngsters off the bench as well, so that maybe played a part in that as well. So league table, early days, of course. But not that it really matters. 3 games played, 3 wins, 14 goal difference, and yeah, Grotta is currently in second. Stunnan there in fourth, in 6th with 4 points, which does surprise me a little bit. They're a better team than that, I would have thought. But anyway, that's that. We are going to put the GAGs out against the Goose here. And we are expecting a 4-2-3-1 formation from them, which is ambitious. Let's hope they do play like that, because we'll absolutely smash them. This is the team we're sending out. Rafferson in goal. Bodvarsson goes at left back for this one with Mortensen, Mortensen, no, I don't think you're a ball player, mate. Unison and Snyder, he's back from his loan, and he's had one of those off-field development things where his determination's gone through the roof, so there's a little bit of hope here now that he might develop a little bit quicker than he had been previously. Turpinson, Olmarkson and Meyer will be in midfield. It is Junior. Bjornsson is going to go as the inside forward, not the greatest finisher. There's an argument to say actually should be an inverted winger rather than an inside forward. Yeah, Magnuson, who usually would play there, has got a bit of an injury. Baltinson will go up front, though he will go up front as a advanced forward. And yeah, let's see if we can knock off some old league opposition. Alright, so I don't recognise any names on their team sheet. Let's, what do we say to this? Just stick to the game plan, you'll be fine. Yeah, I mean, this is proper lower league stuff. There's an argument actually to say we might put Rafferson, switch Rafferson and Baltinson around maybe. And here we go. And they are indeed coming out in a very attacking formation, so good luck to them. If they want to do that to us, that's fine. You do worry a little bit that they're just opening themselves up for us. But you know what? I mean, that's how I would probably play against. Well, it's not. I don't know how I'd play against us, actually. But, we've got Turpinson in there as a deep-lying playmaker. Stick a number 10 in, put pressure on him. You never know what could happen. So, yeah, I can see what they're trying to do. And let's be honest, I mean, it wouldn't really matter what they did. Chances are they're not going to win the game anyway. So you might as well have a go. So, yeah. Credit to their manager, which I don't think actually they had one, but anyway. We will, like I say, we will try and give. We've got some youngsters on the bench here that we're going to try and give game time to. This, I'll show you next time. We do have another young right back that was briefly listed as a promising right back, but that's kind of gone away now, which is a shame. Here we go with Mayer trying to bend and dip one, but looks like it was just past the post. So yeah, this guy here was briefly listed as a promising fullback, so we're going to try and give him a little bit of game time here. He did play a game for the kids, so he's not. There's a decent shot. Oh, it's gone in. It's a very good shot from Bjornsson. And that is the winger Bjornsson, not the central midfielder Bjornsson. And he's just bent it in off the inside of the post. Now, he is, of course, playing an inverted winger over there because we don't really have any left-sided wingers right now that are GAGs. It's a really good strike, actually, isn't it? Very, very nice. Reminiscent of the Milosevic one that was in Goal of the Season, which reminds me I need to show you Goal of the Season. You know something I was forgetting. We'll do that, but we'll do that before the second game, assuming I remember, which I almost certainly won't. But here we go again with Bodvarsson. We actually have two right-footed players on the left for this one, which isn't ideal. It's fallen for Junior there. Can he get a ball back in? Snyder for Bjornsson. Almost with a second. I mean, at least it's kind of close, I suppose. It is fun rattling in scores, obviously, but sometimes you want a sort of a bit of a competitive game, don't you? So yeah, my plan here is, I don't forget how many subs we can make. I think we can make at least 4 though. If we can get, we might even make it second half to try and keep it interesting. We'll switch Baltinson and Rafferson around. Junior now with a free kick. Haven't seen him take too many, and that wasn't a mile away. We'll give them a bit more praise and see if we can go on with it a little bit here. But despite more or less complete domination, really, it's only 1-0 coming into the break. First half stoppage time here. Bjornsson has got past his man. Baltinson's running through the middle. And Mayer's been, he's gone down. Actually, it did look a little bit like a dive, but it's been given, which you don't necessarily like when you're playing, David versus Goliath like this. But Baltinsson has found the back of the net via the goalkeeper's arm. It's his 11th of the season, and this is actually a pretty good crowd for them as well. Let's hope that, let's hope they get a bit of money from it. It's a terrible. I mean, you've got to save that, don't you? He will be having nightmares about that one. All right, so that's half time. Let's just. Yeah, we're happy. All right, so we will switch up goalkeeper and striker, and that will make life a little bit more interesting for us. We will... I don't think we're going to get enough time out of him. Johansson can come on for Maya. That's what he gets for diving. Don't like that. And let's get... Turpinson's on a booking, so we'll get Friedrichsen on for him. And we'll leave it at that. To give you an idea how much time we can get out of him. So we'll wait a little bit to bring him on, I think. And yeah, there we go. So that is that. Let's get out here. Let's praise them. And let's see if we can get Rafferson his goal. Here we go. Junior does a good job. All the way back to Baltinson. His first touch as a goalkeeper. I don't think, have we played Baltinson in goal before? Maybe we have. We definitely played Krusliak there, because I remember he got annoyed about it. It's just not a good sport. Oh, and they're down to 10 men. They're just, you wonder if they've get stuck in on, actually, because they're just sticking their feet in where they don't need to. But that could just be the level of player that they are compared to the level of player that we are. Alright, so we're coming up towards the hour mark. Let's take Schneider off for the kid here. Gunnarolfsson. Gunnarolfsson it probably is, isn't it? Bodvarsson with a throw. Ball in. It's a cross. Oh, was that? It was Gunnarolfsson. Good. Gunnarolfsson. Yeah, we'll go with Gunnarolfsson. I really should practice before I start recording instead of bringing them off the bench and being and then just sort of doing myself an injury trying to say the name. And let's see what happens with this one. Johansson gets it tackled away, but only as far as Bodvarsson. Mortensen to Bodvarsson. Bodvarsson to Bjornsson. It really is a bit of a tongue twister sometimes, these Icelandic team, when we have sort of the whole Icelandic gang out there. I wonder if Junior should really be Juniorson, shouldn't he? Come on, boys. 2-0 is... I mean, you never really, I suppose, want to rack up a score against these sorts of teams. But it has been all one-way traffic. It's not been a great demonstration of breaking down a team, really, has it? Here we go with Bjornsson again. It's for Fredriksson, and he puts it just past. But yeah, really, against 10 men, we really probably should be doing a little bit better. I still haven't changed that from... Was that Roma in the Champions League last year? I've got to remember to go and do that. But we're coming into stoppage time. If they get one back now, it gets a bit interesting, and most of us have to try and find this team's logo to do the thing for the replay, but thankfully they haven't. And Johansson comes forward for Bjornsson. It's a good ball for Olmarkson, but hacked away by the defence. Bodvarsson comes forward, across for Gunnolfsson. Gunnolfsson has a go! And that wasn't a mile away either. But still no Rafferson goal this season. Didn't get one last year either. So a goal drought for our goalkeeper, which is never nice to see. But that is as comfortable a 2-0 as you'll ever see, that one. Oh, this is a kick in the backside. He doesn't want to talk to us. Okay, well, we need to come up with a plan B now as to who's going to be centre-back in Europe this season. I wasn't expecting that. Okay, well, that's a big, big disappointment. Well, let's go and have a look at goal of the season, try and get ourselves over that disappointment. And this is it here, in a 1-1 game against Fylkir early last season. That banana kick from Morocco is a worthy winner. But there we go, that will do it for that. We will offer Junior his new contract, that's fine. And yeah, I will see you momentarily. We don't know who we're playing yet in the next round, but whoever it is, we'll stick out a team of GAGs, and hopefully we'll get the win. Okay, welcome back. We have Folgner in the next round of the Cup. Now, because they are also a Premier League team, we're at home for this, which helps us massively, because this would have been a tricky team otherwise. We are just coming out of an international break as well, so I'm not sure exactly what our squad is going to look like. I think our Icelandic players are back. They're going to be tied, though. Now, it's almost like starting a new episode here. The transfer window has opened in Europe, and we've made signings. We've made a few signings. Now, the first one is a goalkeeper, Mateo Bermudez, an 18-year-old Spanish goalkeeper. Now, the reason I've done this is not that we're going to get rid of Puyol instantly. He doesn't like big games, which I don't like. So we signed this guy for 3.8 million. There's a lot of potential there. The scouts really liked him, and this guy likes big games. So it's not, as I said, he'll come in on July 1st. It's not an instant replace him this season. But it's just, see how he goes, and he will become sort of Icelandic and club trained and all those things as well down the line. So that will all help us. Other signings that we made. With the Grubasic deal clearly not going to happen now, we've gone and signed Brian Kune. We've signed him from Orlando Pirates in South Africa, so a second South African in the squad along with Seema. And I think we signed Seema from Mamelodi Sundowns, and I think those two are quite big rivals, along with Kaiser Chiefs, or at least they used to be. I haven't followed South African football for a little while. I did actually used to follow a little bit, though, weirdly enough. But what I'd like about this guy, again, 19 years old, he's going to become club trained and all those things. Either foot, positioning is okay, but good tackling, and his passing isn't too bad. He's not a bad ball playing centre back, so he could sort of replace Grubasic in that sort of a role. He doesn't have as good a positioning. He's not as good as Grubasic. That's not up for discussion, I don't think. But I think we only paid under $1 million for him, 650,000 I think up front. So a real bargain on that front as well. And we've signed another player that I'm very excited about. And it is this guy, Pavel Rusnak. Now, it says he's a right back. He's left-footed. He's also a model citizen. So we are going to play him. He's going to be our new left back. He can cross the ball. He's 18. Look how good he is for 18. Good marking as well. Tackling technique. Really, really like him. Is he going to start left back in Europe this year? Maybe not, to be honest, because we still have Giacchini, who is club captain as well, of course. So it will take him time to adapt, though he is kind of already familiar with the role. So we'll see. It'll be one of those. We'll just see how he's getting on, how what's his name, Giacchini is getting on out there. But we've paid more money for this guy, over, I think, 6.5 million up front and some add-ons. And we've also had to sign someone he wanted us to sign someone to help him settle. So we've just signed some no-name Slovakian rubbish goalkeeper to a one-year deal. So that will keep him happy there as well. But a Wonder Kid model citizen, those don't come along too often. Now, we do have some bad news. It's not a departure, but I think we can assume it's going to be. And this is purely down to an Aussie villain, I forgot what I've done moment. Skojan, remember him? Remember how we sold Kruzliak to give him in and getting game time? Very, very good, scoring goals for fun. Well, I forgot when we signed him, we had a 3.4 million release fee in his contract for foreign clubs. He is refusing to negotiate now, and somebody is going to trigger that because he's an absolute bargain at 3.4 million. So, yeah, at the time, he wouldn't have signed without that, so I don't regret it in that sense. What I should have done, obviously, if I'd remembered that he had that, is offer him a new deal and take that out. So we'll keep trying to offer him a new deal. I don't think it's going to happen, though, and yeah, we're going to lose him for essentially nothing for a player of his quality anyway. So whether we need to replace him or not, I guess we'll see. My first thought is that we don't desperately need to, because we know we have two other really quality guys up front. What I think we're going to miss is just he was supposed to be that physical presence. He's a really good all-round player. So disappointing, especially for so cheap, but we wouldn't have had him in the first place without that release fee. So it's one of those, like, what can you do? It's sort of a little bit out of our hands. I just forgot that he had it. So, yeah, that is that. Now, we do have some games to catch you up on in between the two cup ties as well. The first of those games, as I check my notes, was against, it was against Valor, the second biggest stadium in the country. D'Ambrosio slipped in Kosh to open the scoring. Valtenson crossed for Rayul to get our second. Before Kosh found Valtenson to make it 3-0. Rayul picked out D'Ambrosio's run for our fourth. And Valtenson got our fifth. Before Kosh crossed for Valtenson's hat-trick. D'Ambrosio made it 7-0. And then slipped in Rickardsson for our eighth. So, an absolute demolition of Valor. We played Baltinson as the inside forward again. The front three were just absolutely brilliant in this one. We tore them apart and, yeah, made some subs later in the game. And even Rickardsson came off and off the bench and got himself a goal as well. So, all very, very nice stuff. The next game we played, I've got to turn my notes over. It was against IBV. Rayul picked out Skojan's run to make it 1-0. Seema played in Skojan for our second. Before he completed his hat-trick. And Skojan turned provider for Seema to get our fourth. So another game, not quite as many goals, but complete domination. Skojan with a hat-trick, Seema played well, Rayul, all the usual names were up there having good games. So yeah, Milosevic may be a little bit disappointing down that right-hand side, but we'll give him a day off, I suppose. Next up, it was KR. D'Ambrosio gave us the lead early in the second half. Kosh made it 2-0. Before he whipped in a cross for Hal Dawson to get his first for the club. So yeah, there wasn't much happening in the first half. It looked like it was going to be one of those games that maybe we slipped up in, but second half was a lot better. And yeah, we got the result there. Hal Dawson, the youngster that came through our academy, he's a striker that we've seen once or twice for the GAGs. It is completely rubbish. Good finish though for him there, playing in place of Baltinson out there on that left-hand side. So that was good to see. Our final game to catch you up on was against Vikinger. We fell behind early. Rayul played in Seema to pull us level. But Stephenson restored their lead. Before Seema crossed for Rayul to make it 2-2 at half-time. Seema put us ahead. And Meyer made it 4-2. Before Seema crossed for D'Ambrosio to get our fifth. D'Ambrosio turned provider for Junior to make it 6-1. And Seema picked out Rayul for our seventh. So this was a really good game until half-time, and then second half, we just absolutely blew them away. We got the goal relatively early, 6 minutes or so of the second half, and they fell to pieces, or we were brilliant, maybe a little bit of both. Just a really strange game in that sense. Stephenson, though, got his goal now. I think it's flashed up with his 150th goal of his career, so well done to him, our former striker, of course, in the twilight of his career. Looking at the league table, and we are 7 from 7, 21 points, a plus 34 goal difference. Have conceded a few, haven't we? It was at 1 to Starnen and 2 to Vikinga, so not ideal on that front, but we score enough. We can afford to ship 1 or 2, can't we? All right, so Folgner's who we're about to play in the cup. Now they are sitting there 7th in the league right now. Let's go and see what we can do against them in the cup at home, of course. And we are expecting a little bit different from them here, sort of a 4. What would you call that? Actually, a 5-3-2, if you're being generous to them. And this is the team that we're sending out. Now, you will notice Baltinson, he's not 100% ready to go, heavy match load. Similar situation with Unnison, so not ideal, given that we have very, very limited options up front. So, Rafferson in goal, it is Bodvartsen, Mortensen, Hausmedjassen, and Schneider. It's Turpinson, Ormarksen, and Rickartsen in midfield. Junior, Bjornsson, and Baltinson will be the front three. And, the bench is kind of as it was. We just got to really hope Baltinson gets this done for us because, like I say, we are struggling for other striking options. Hal Dawson, if you're wondering, is injured. He's out for 5 or 6 weeks, so that's why we don't have him as an option. All right, so we can see the team sheet there. Hal Dawson, of course, was a GAG for a number of seasons. I don't recognise any other names there. And what do we say to this? Doing well is important to make full home advantage. I think maybe we go with that. I'm slightly nervous about this one. Anytime I think we play top flight opposition with the GAGs, you just get a little bit nervous, don't you? But good crowd, it looks like. Stadiums, it looks more or less a sellout. And there we go. Let me know what you think of the new signing. I'm really excited about the left back, I've got to say. We're going to have to change marking assignments here, aren't we? I think he could be brilliant, or right back, that's going to be a left back for us. The others are just sort of see what happens. They're young, so it kind of if we get them in early enough, and we'll see what happens with them. The goalkeeper, the scouts thought he was quite good, so he should be a positive signing. And same with the centre back. He was fairly well sought after by some other clubs in Europe, and I think we just sort of jumped in. Hopefully, we did take advantage of perhaps their windows being closed and them not looking to do signings towards the end of their season. So yeah, we'll see what happens on that front as well. But there's no doubt not getting Grubasic. I genuinely, I didn't even cross my mind that he wouldn't want to join us. I thought we were going to have done enough to convince him. Oh, and it is Bjornsson. Schneider whipped the ball in. It looked like it bounced off a few people there, and Bjornsson was there at the back post to tuck it away. Very nicely done. He's done well, hasn't he, over there as an inverted winger? He can play on both sides. Yeah, just took a little deflection off the defender there, and we were camped that out at the back post, and we were able to get the goal. So very nicely done. I really did think he was going to want to stay. I thought, was that a save or was that crossbar? I really did. Yeah, I thought we would have done enough to show Grubasic that it was worth him staying here rather than going and being a bench player at Man United. There's still going to be loan options, of course. One thing we do have to be careful of is registering a squad, because the one thing about Krusliak was that he was club trained in Europe, so we didn't have to register him and Seema because they were under 21 as well. So we've kind of lost that. Skojan, it's just a small mark. So I'm not sure if we're going to get away with him or not in Europe as being registered, or like an under 21 player that doesn't have to be registered, I should say. Of course, the issue, as I said, is going to be 100. I would be shocked if somebody didn't come in for 3.4 million to sign him. It wouldn't make sense not to do it. So, yeah, that's a shame. I mean, I'm sure, maybe I'm just an idiot. I'm sure we've all done it, though. We've put the minimum release fees in when it's sort of a non-negotiable thing that they put in with the initial contract, and just forgot about it. As that was a really good ball through from Rickartsen. Bjornsson has his second of the game. It's 2-0, and we haven't even really seen Baltinson yet, which is probably good because he's only playing a 6-4, so at least we're not relying on him. Look at this from Rickartsen, though. He's starting to show signs, Rickartsen, that there's a good... I mean, we knew there was a good player in there when we signed him, which I think I paid usually I think I was giving clubs $500,000 for their younger players, and I gave was it FH? I think we signed him from, as Junior walked into. So really good. That's some excellent play there. Junior did brilliantly, worked himself into some space. I think it was all Markson that found him, and then Boutenson just had to tap the cross in, really, didn't he? I think it was all Markson, one of the old gags. Yeah, no one picked up Junior's run at all. That's the, I would imagine, their wing backs, and then a centre back hasn't covered across. It was really smart play, good off the ball movement, and easy as you like, 3-0. Now, I'd say this means that we could rest Boutenson, but we literally don't have another striker. We could try and experiment with somebody going up front. I know Bjornsson's finishing isn't really one for him to be a striker. I wonder if we looked at Rickardsson up there as a deep lying forward, perhaps. There's a cracking ball. Unfortunately, it's a good piece of defending, but we've come back here. Boutenson, is he in? He is. Boutenson went with his head, and the goalkeeper was equal to it. Of course, the other thing is that Boutenson could just play here, and we don't necessarily need him to play the next game in the league. But, I mean, I'm more concerned about injuries. As all Markson and Boutenson try to link up again. Junior's picked up a loose ball. It looked a little bit like it could have been a foul there, but it's not like we need it. Boutenson, all Markson, does well there to win it back. But Vartson gets caught in possession, and Folgner come forward. And, I mean, I'd imagine they'll be a little bit annoyed at losing to this team. That's offside, I think, or was Bod Vartson playing him on? It was offside. But, you know, for a GAG side, we've got, Rafferson's an international, Mortenson's an international, and obviously Boutenson is an international. So there's a few in there. We've got Rickardsson on the bench as well. Fredriksson, on the bench is an international, as is Unnesson. Unnesson would normally play, I suppose. What are we saying? Don't get complacent. So, you know, it is the GAGs are a team that would win the league, I think, which would be an interesting challenge in itself, you know, as a sort of the academy challenge to try and win the league that way in Iceland. We would do it. I think the problem would be, I don't think this team would compete that well in Europe. Maybe that would be an interesting, impossible dream at some point, but I think that's maybe something you'd be better off doing off camera, where you could sort of devote a whole year to it, kind of thing. Although if you add now with the new one, is that you can carry series forward, or saves forward, I should say. That could be a very interesting thing to do. Oh, and Boutenson, if he's onside, has himself a second. And it is 4-0. I have had a few questions too. Are we going to carry this because you can? I read it as that starting from FM24, you carry games forward into FM25, but apparently it's not. So we could, in theory, take this series into the next one. I'm not going to be doing that. The reason being, I always think it's better to start fresh with the new game. But one thing that I can do if people are interested is make the save file available. I will probably, if you can carry it forward, I'll probably carry on with it sort of off camera and on the Discord sort of try and post some updates as Bjornsson has himself a hat-trick now. Very, very nicely done. Because just like at night, or if I'm watching the kids during the day and I have 5 minutes just to play a game, I'd probably be interested in doing that, to be honest. But in terms of keeping it going on YouTube, then no. One of the main reasons for that is that with the new game, you tend to get that's when new people will I don't want to say en masse, because nothing happens on this channel en masse, but they're more likely to find you. So it'll be fine for us to be in season 17 or 18 or whatever season it would be at the time and continuing on. But for someone coming in new, I mean, they're going to have no idea who Boutenson is, or Rickardsson, or Junior, or Rafferson, or they're going to have absolutely no context. They're unlikely to go back and watch 17 seasons. Forgot to turn my phone off. So there's nothing really in it for that. So, and I do like to start again, so you get the real players back in. And that was a silly tackle, wasn't it? I personally like to just kind of start again as well. But anyway, long story short, if anybody wants the save file, just let me know, and I can. I've got to look at how to do it again. I've done it before, but I don't mind sharing it. But yeah, in terms of keeping it going on YouTube, I don't think we'll be. Well, we won't be. I don't want to sort of pretend that there's a chance. I just won't. Not that I'm not enjoying it, that being said. So a very good performance from the GAGs. Let's not, yeah, that was a top flight team, a Pepsi League team. So yeah, to do it, do them 5-0, albeit at home, very very nice. And Bjornsson with a hat trick. He's okay. Is Bjornsson? He's 21. He's one of these guys that if we had a lot of talent coming through, we'd probably have to look at selling him. But we don't really have any quality wide players coming through. So that being said, if someone wants to come in and pay us a big fee for him, we might consider letting him go. But there we go. That will be that. If you've enjoyed it, thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new. We'll be back for the quarterfinal next episode and something else. Probably, hopefully, a semi-final. Now you will notice, third qualifying round, we have had the tick over of European competition. I'll quickly try and find that in the inbox and show you. Okay, here we go here. So the league has moved up one place to 20th. The one league we went above was the championship in England, so that's good. The club rankings have been announced. We stayed 28th. Now, one thing is that next season in Europe, this season for us, and then the following season, we're only defending sort of 8 and 9 points in Europe, I think, or 7 and 9 points. So if we do what we've been doing the last few years, we'll gain sort of 12 points each season. So that'll really then be able to shoot us up, and then it'll be a struggle to try and stay there. Now, homegrown players for European competition. I'll just quickly scroll down these so you can see everybody. Yeah, it's not a great list in terms of players that we want to be eligible for Europe, playing in Europe, that are, going to count. So Seema, I think, is one of the big bonus ones that he counts, but that is pretty much it there otherwise. So, and Weir will count as well, and Pavas. So, I mean, there's a couple of bonuses there, but not like we've had in previous seasons. And the other thing is that we have slips. So as of, I'm assuming so next season, not this season, we will be coming in the second qualifying round rather than the third qualifying round. That is just too many Icelandic teams in Europe and only us actually winning games there. So that's a shame. That's a shame to have dropped that. But it is what it is, and we will do our best to overcome it. But as I said, that's it for today. I'll see you next time for the quarterfinal and then hopefully a semi-final. And then European action will return, which will be very exciting. Until then, guys, I've been Aussie. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.